something about today's session and what the students have been doing?
Yes, today we have. We have 7 sessions in parallel from Indonesia.
Hello and welcome back. We started Impact Playground 24 just about 24 hours ago, and a lot of things have happened since then. Yesterday we introduced the network of excellence formed by 12 municipalities and 3 county councils, and then we had a discussion with a panel discussing challenges and possibilities for this network. After that, there were sessions where people from all over the world met to see if they could form deals and cooperations. And we're going to try to wrap everything up today. And I would like to start with the network of excellence. And here is what the head of NTNU's sustainability program, Helge Brattebø, said when I asked him how unique this network is.
Hi, and welcome to this dialogue session where we want to talk about the newly founded Network of Excellence and what we hope they will be able to achieve. And we want to talk about how we can use these United for Smart and Sustainable Cities key performance indicators to reach UN's Sustainable Development Goals. With me here today is also a panel. First, it's Helge Brattebø, professor and head of NTNU's sustainability program. We have Anne Romsås from the Norwegian Association of Local and Regional Authorities. We have Bente Herlevær, assistant chief executive of Bærum Municipality, and Kari Aina Eik, program director for United Smart Cities and secretary general for the Organization for International Economic Relations. Welcome, everyone. And with me as a moderator today is Christian Mjøen, who you also know as the head of the Geneva UN Charter Center of Excellence on SDGs here in Trondheim. It is also possible to ask questions. Just leave them in the chat, and then we will try and ask as many of them as possible on your behalf. We've just heard about the 15 municipalities and county councils that have formed a network of excellence with close interaction with several businesses. And I want to start with you, Helge. How unique is this?
I guess this is very unique. I've never heard of a, let's say, such a national-wide intention, and then starting with the municipalities or actors also at the county level that without any doubt have a sincere wish to do something that actually makes a difference. There are lots of initiatives worldwide at different scales and by different actors, public and private, with respect to trying to implement in a serious way towards sustainability. But what is actually lacking is a systemic and systematic approach to that work. When that hopefully is done by these actors and also in a way that facilitates learning and sharing of experience between themselves, this is something that I believe would really make a difference.
City Chief Executive here in Trondheim, Morten Volden, how is this network useful for Trondheim?
I think it's very useful that all these cities come together and work together with the SDGs to compare how we are doing on the different indexes, and it's also important that we have these international meetings so we can share with the other cities all over the world and get experiences back to us. So it's work in progress. We are just in the beginning, but there's been a lot of work done the last 6 months that we hope to present for you in the weeks to come.
Like you said, you're in the beginning, but where do you go from here?
From here to the stars? No. No, we are working on different levels with the SDGs in the cities. I think all the cities are that. So we are working with the budgeting processes. We are working with the other cities. But we are going to Geneva in October to present this, and we are very excited what the feedback will be then. Mm.
One of the sustainability goals is leave no one behind, no poverty. In your municipality, there's about 15,000 employees. How are you going to work to leave none of them behind?
That's a good question because there are a lack of knowledge when it comes to the SDGs, the 17 and the 169. So we have to work with all the units. We are about 220 units in the municipality. So it's important that everybody get to know about the SDGs and how they can work with the SDGs on their units. But it's also important to work with the whole city society, because this is not just for the municipality people, it's for the whole city, for the trade and industry, and for the voluntary organizations, the NGOs, and so on.
It's not an easy task. How do you look upon it?
Now it's not easy, but then it wouldn't have been so fun either. So it's hard work, and we are in progress, and there are a lot of people that wants to work with SDGs, also in the trade and the industry, not least.
So you're up for the challenge.
I'm up for the challenge with all those people watching here now.
Thank you very much, Morten. Kariana Eik, you're the Secretary General for the Organization for International Economic Relations, and you're also Program Director for United Smart Cities. What are your thoughts about yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a little bit overwhelmed. I mean, also because of the fantastic organization and all the work that the team in Trondheim has put into do this. It's been really amazing. And I think we are on track to something that could be really having an impact, not just in Norway, but also around the world. And I'm just so grateful to be part of that with the group that is sitting around the table and in Norway now to do that. So, but for me, it's as also Morten was saying here, and Helge, you know, it is there's a lot of initiatives around the world on SDGs, and a lot of groups are doing fantastic things already, but everybody's looking for how to do it. And if you can try to get the how a little bit, that you're starting to do a little bit the same things, and at least learning from each other on things that make sense all over the world, because most cities are grappling with the same issues, right? Then it starts to get very, very interesting. And I think that's what we are on the brink to see here with this network.
I mean, you're Norwegian, but you've been living abroad for many years in Vienna. How does Norway look through the eyes of a person living in Vienna?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I've been out for 24 years now, and wherever I go, everywhere, no matter which country, if you're coming from Norway, nobody has an issue with Norway. It's just a fantastic, to be able to represent, and be out there for Norway. So a lot of people are actually looking to the Nordics and to Norway also. And the Nordics and Norway has a lot of multilateral and bilateral agreements and corporations all over the world. So are involved with very, very much. So even though we are small countries, it's actually having a lot of impact globally around the world with all the things that's happening. So I think we should use this opportunity that people are looking to us for the SDGs now in the best way. So yeah.
Yes, so you talked about the importance of speaking the same language. We're gonna see a clip from yesterday now.
But what's a smart city?
Yeah, I get this question every day. Yeah, and and I say I hardly answer. I hardly answer it. But what we have been trying to do is that to break this down in what is it exactly, right? So what's been a big part of these programs that we've developed during the years is to get to a method where we can say what is a smart city and what is a sustainable city. I don't think it makes no sense to talk about smart city without sustainability, right? So that's exactly these KPIs, and probably we'll hear much about during this
because
next 24 hours.
You were kind of sick of trying to answer this question through a simple definition, because it's too complex to answer by way of a definition. So I think what at some point you and increasingly a lot of the UN agencies decided we need a more hands-on approach to talking about smart and sustainable cities, and this is where the KPIs came. So KPI is, by the way, another one of these abbreviations that people use a lot. What's the KPI?
Yeah. A KPI, it's a key performance indicators, right? That's what we say it is, and it's just a measurement of a certain value, right? Of what it is. But if you were looking into smart city, and a lot of people are thinking about technology, right? So very concrete digitalization or technology. But if you look at all the indicators related to smart city, there's 430. So like it's a lot of different, every aspects of infrastructure, a lot of these things. So what we have done is that we've taken those 430 indicators and broken them down to this 92 now linked to the SDGs or the Sustainable Development Goals. And that's the essence now of what we are measuring cities. And of course, it's not covering all smart city aspects, it's maybe not covering all sustainability aspects, but it's a good mix to see, get an overview of where the cities stand.
So what are the challenges getting all the cities to speak the same language?
Yeah, because it's always, with the Sustainable Development Goals, we've had them for 5 years, right? But it's already, starting, when you're putting new things in the world, it takes a little bit of time before it starts to grasp, but it needs to fit into, the circumstances. And I see now it starts to grasp. And I'm not worried that this will be a universal language, because, Sustainable Development Goals is now, even in the most remote places around the world, there is a fantastic understanding, what this means for them. And I think that's what the SDGs needs to. If we're going to pick it up and get momentum and drive in this, it needs to mean something for each and every individual. And it's up to them to define what this is. But I see it starts to pick up all around the world now on the SDGs. I think this is the new world language.
So that we leave no one behind.
No one behind.
Thank you, Kariina. I also have with me Yu Cheng. You've coordinated the students and the teams around this 24-hour event. How has that been?
Yeah, it has been great. And of course, it's also had the challenges and the diversity and the good things. And I think one of the challenges to organize this 24 hours event is because we had quite short time to prepare, from recruiting the team, organizing and finding the right roles to put good people to the right place. That took some time. However, we also achieved many things because our team has very diversity background. We have a bachelor student to PhD students. So our knowledge and motivations are a good contributions to these events.
But Ola Bergstrand, you're a system engineer and you've organized the local activities that took place after the Network of Excellence and our panel discussion yesterday. What's actually possible to achieve during 24 hours?
Well, you know a few months later what happens. So I think the whole design of what we try to accomplish and what is very difficult is to bring different stakeholders who normally take part in different arenas. Yeah. You have the decision makers in their arena, you have the experts, the knowledge in another, and you have the entrepreneurs and they who maybe a bit earlier go to action in another arena. So we try in this Impact Playground 24 to bring these different qualities together. The sort of the assembly in the beginning, and then the knowledge part where you start to bring expertise and diverse stakeholders together, and then go into what we say the playground, where often the people want to be. If you're in the conference, you want to go back and meet that person you identified or something. That's when you start to build something for the future, which is what you do after you're leaving the conference or the place. So sort of that is what we have done the last days. We have onboarded a very interesting global community with people around the world. Many of them are organizing local activities. That's what we do. And we will have a few voices here soon from Pakistan and from Kenya and from Sweden. to show what's happened.
Yeah, because there has been agreements.
It has, it starts with a bit of I'm here. If you don't show that you exist, it's very difficult to connect. So, and that's a process also to go from this passive role to like, I want to be part of this. And when you're there, then you need to have the courage to connect. So I see you. So you see some potential and you start to grow something there. And then you need a journey ahead. Let's meet in 5 days from here and start to discuss. So that's also what we try to design here. So this is what we say, a playground where we catalyze and amplify and meet each other and share knowledge and passion. And then the journey starts. That's when you start to build something. So hopefully in the coming weeks, we do weekly activities where we bring these elements together. We can listen to decision makers, to the experts, and also in the new economy we are now, the overall design is to bring in more brains into the process, because we can be very good here in the Nordics, but we are a small, tiny place on the global spot. So we have a lot of brilliance that could help the Nordics to develop our system. So it's really to get more passion and more brains into work.
You've also invited people into this Zoom meet. Would you like to introduce them?
Yes, we have a few voices here that randomly said that something happened, so best to hear from them. So Robert, can you hear us in Sweden? What's your take? Who are you and what's your take on this?
Yes, Robert from Sweden here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I work for the county administrative board in Västmanland of Sweden with climate questions. And then I am also running some development projects as soon as I am free. And I think this is like two worlds meeting, the formal Swedish Norwegian with the more flexible and wild big world. So I have tried myself to sort of moderate to get my colleagues from Sweden into the meetings last night. And I'm very interested in meeting, say, municipalities, regions in Norway to discuss climate change projects. And the key thing for me yesterday was to meet Albert from Slum Code in Africa. We seem to have very many similar interests. So we already started to discuss a little bit outside the meeting.
We had to change because we were running a campaign that was based on mountain climbing and traveling. So because that cannot happen anymore, we shifted to scale our World Environment Day project. And so we are working on the Slum Code Green project to be able to realize a green hub, which will help a lot of young people with employment, with environmental sustainability, and much more. So thank you so much. This has been an amazing journey, and I appreciate what we will do together.
Thank you. And we also have from another part of the world in Asia, Sadaf, can you hear us? Who are you and what's your experience?
I'm Sadaf and I'm from Islamabad, Pakistan. I'm representing the SDGs Academy of Pakistan. So yes, the impact journey have been really interesting. And as Batola and Christian, they already know, have been having the digital hackathon for the last 2-3 months. And I'm working on SDG 17, which is looking for global partnership for the Sustainable Development Goals. So I think it's a very interesting, and as we all talk about, it is about global language. We have to learn from each other. So Pakistan right now, the challenges that we work with the academies, we are looking for certified SDGs trainers who are experts on different sustainable development goals so that they can learn, because we have to work with the grassroots communities here. It is about working with the grassroots community. So we need to implement these sustainable development goals in Pakistan, whether we talk about climate, whether we talk about quality education, whether we talk about smart sustainable cities. So if we can learn from each other how you are progressing on these sustainable development goals, and then we can work here in Pakistan. So that was really interesting, and we are now digitally connected, so I think we should take advantage of it and take it here from further.
So very good. So that's a few voices from outside. We have WhatsApp. We have a lot of small spaces now that have been built up the last 48 hours, you can say. It was really started 3 days back.
Yep.
So we have a global community with around 300 people who signed in, who represent all continents and most regions of the world. So these are examples of they who really connect and make things happen locally. So on the one hand, we have the cities and maybe more the public sort of layer, and then we have communities and entrepreneurs who they are like spiders. They are weaving this action and resources. So if we can start to bridge them locally and do like this, we can get things going. But then you need a journey. You need something to drive it forward.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we try to do here.
Is it possible to ask a question?
Of course.
I like to ask a question to Sadaf, because you mentioned the SDG Academy, and you're talking about working with grassroots, the communities, but are you also working with cities in Pakistan?
Yeah, so we have Academy in Karachi, which is the biggest seaport, and then we have Academy in Lahore, that's in Punjab province. So as I mentioned that we were having a digital hackathon, so during that, Mr. Hans Bertola maybe knows him, he's from Norway, and we've already started a World Climate School initiative online. I've engaged my teams with them, and we're introducing that concept here. So yes, our teams are connected with the local communities, and they will be willing to work on different sustainable development goals. So that is why we are looking for global partnership or different organizations, which after when the COVID-19 situation is over, we were supposed to have this hackathon physical also, and Christian and Bertola and other, they were supposed to come to Pakistan, but that is the next level. So yes.
One more question.
Yes.
Can you say something about how the SDG Academy is funded or financed?
Now, it's a private limited company as for now. It's a private initiative. Amar Jaffrey is our chairman and I'm the CEO. So it's on a business model we are working, and we want to engage especially the youth to make them successful entrepreneurs for the time being. We're not an NGO.
Thank you very much. We're going to wrap things up, and I wanted to talk to you at the end, Christian, the head of the Geneva UN Charter Center of Excellence on SDGs here in Trondheim. How will you summarize this whole 24-hour event?
I think in a sense you summarized it yourself with the following question: how do we avoid leaving someone behind?
Yeah.
I think these 24 or even 48 hours has very much been about leaving no one behind. Like Sadaf was saying, we need to get real when it comes to including people in a learning process, not just at the individual level, but at the community level, at the city level. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with the team around you, with the work that Bertola is doing. We want to do this as simply as possible. We want to use simple technologies, platforms that are readily available wherever you are, methodologies that have really been around for a very long time. But it's like Bertola said, it's when you bring these together, simplify the process, and package this that you can begin to generate the types of impacts. So while what we're doing right now might at first glance seem a bit sophisticated, maybe, I don't know. I think most of what we did over the last 24 hours can be packaged for any of Morten's 220 units. So if you work in a daycare institution, if you work within healthcare or city administration, this is a type of process that you can engage in wherever you are, using your mobile phone, using designs that are readily available. And I think this is how we will begin to plug more people and organizations and entities into the journey forward towards the SDGs. So I'm very, very hopeful from what I'm seeing. And I think this is only the tip of the iceberg, the examples of connections being made right now on the screen.
So the Impact Playground 24 is coming to its end, but the groups and the new newly formed relationships will continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just ask one question from Christian?
Yep.
Yeah, so we are waiting from you guys, as we already spoke about Smart Sustainable City project in Pakistan. If your team comes up with some kind of a training, digital training, so we can engage our local team. So will be interesting to learn about the Smart Sustainable Cities. So we will be waiting for that from you guys.
Yeah, and I think equally, and this is, I guess, the connection to Morten's question. How can we, in a positive way, steal your design for an academy to start the local training here in Trondheim? You are obviously adopting a very systematic approach to each of the SDGs and figuring out how you can make this real, include people without having to be a world-class expert on any of the SDGs. And I think these are the types of ideas and designs that we can adopt here in Trondheim and maybe even Albert.
Sure.
I know you are doing a lot of training as well, and these designs, they travel.
Yeah.
They're not
Yes.
specific.
Yeah, so right now, currently, as I mentioned, that we have already started the World Climate School initiative with our local teams, and there are other programs that people are approaching us during the digital hackathon. So it's all online trainings. We are connecting and engaging the local our teams with them globally. So we will be interested, and we'll share it with you guys, and vice versa. We'll be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sadaf, and everybody else, even from Nairobi. Like I said, we will continue this discussion. It is very important to be able to have the kind of a platform where we can engage. And I'm so happy to be part of this learning that the young people are going to generate and really get involved in the climate action and in the process of the learning society. So again, thank you so much, panel. Thank you, Christian, and everybody and the team. We look forward to actualizing and realizing this dream. Asante sana.
Asante sana. Thanks.
Thank you. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.